Alright, how's it going, everybody? We're switching it up a bit here today and doing another Q&A special. Actually, come to think of it, it's been about a year since the last one, so I guess we were kinda due. I put out a couple posts in the community tab asking you guys for questions, and I got a few here that are just generally frequently asked in the comments and stream chat that I figured I'd knock out too. If a question you asked or were curious about isn't answered here, feel free to drop it in the comments. Depending on how this video does, I might consider making these more frequently. I got some Elden Ring randomizer gameplay going in the background. This was actually supposed to be a deathless randomizer attempt, but well, you'll see what happens with that. As always, make sure you leave a like if you are enjoying the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the Q&A. Kicking things off with the first question here, which is actually a combination of questions. Do you still have a regular job? Short answer there is no. And what made you end up quitting after you said you didn't want to? So I actually ended up making a whole video talking about that situation specifically. You can go check that out if you want like a full breakdown of how all this ended up coming to be. But to give you a really long story short, it just kind of needed to happen. I was already pretty unhappy there as is, and some stuff ended up happening towards the end that made it pretty clear to me that it was just never gonna get any better. And at that point, I was already making more money off YouTube than at the job anyway, so at that point, there really just wasn't any reason for me to stick around, if that makes sense. And I will say, now that we're about 8 months into this thing, I don't regret making that decision at all. Even if it isn't always necessarily what I expected, I can say that this has been an overwhelmingly positive change, both for the channel and for me. Also, sorry if some of these answers like ramble or anything, by the way. I didn't really script this or make notes or anything like that. I basically just have a list of questions here and I'm kind of winging it. Anyway, moving on to question number 2. Do you still plan on trying VTubing? And is there any update on a potential VTuber model? So again, the short answer there is kind of no. I've been pretty bad about getting on that this year, to be perfectly honest. In fairness to me though, I did mention this a bit in last year's Q&A video, but the biggest thing that kind of has me held up with the whole VTuber model and VTubing in general is that the channel's at a point where you guys, and also probably new viewers, expect like a certain level of quality from my content. So when it comes to something like a VTuber model that is gonna be a pretty big new addition no matter how you slice it, I feel like I really have to make sure that what I end up getting is really good and not like half-assed or just okay, if that makes sense. I have an idea of what I want, but I'm just not 100% sure how to get to that point. Although there is a little bit of progress I can report in that department. One of the other things that was kind of holding me up from starting working on getting a model made was like the audience concern, right? Because, you know, obviously you guys down in the comments are supportive, and when I'm streaming, you guys are typically supportive of that in chat as well. But even still, that's just a small fraction of the audience, and there is that sort of lingering fear that, like, you know, even if I do get a really good or really high quality model made and I'm happy with it and I end up revealing it on the channel, that a lot of people and a lot of viewers are gonna look at it and be like, well, that's dumb, I'm not gonna watch this guy anymore. Obviously, you're never gonna make everybody happy, but I would like at the very least to keep most of my audience happy, you know what I mean? But that being said, I am feeling a little bit better about that sort of anxiety because of the new thumbnail style. You guys seem to really enjoy the new thumbnails and the art direction and stuff. I've seen all kinds of praise for the artists down in the comment section, and not gonna lie, that reception has definitely helped calm some of that anxiety about whether or not people are gonna take well to me having a VTuber model in some of my content. Anyway, the short answer is yes, I still want to do it. I'm still sort of working on it in the background, but there's no concrete updates or anything, and I definitely don't have a timetable. All right, moving on to the next question. How did I stay motivated during the early days of YouTube, and did I ever consider quitting? To be honest, I get asked this a lot. I might actually make a longer video about this just because it is kind of a long story. But as far as staying motivated goes, it was a combination of just me being determined and really wanting to do this, and also having a lot of help. Those of you who follow me on Twitter probably know, which if you don't, go follow me on Twitter. But I'm pretty open about thanking the people who helped me get to where I am, because it wasn't just me. One of the biggest shoutouts I give all the time are to my old team Never Noble, which if you don't know who they are, they were basically a sniping team of some old school Call of Duty YouTubers from back in the day. Blackouts, ACOG, Dizo, Moppy, and all of those guys really helped keep me motivated during those early days when I didn't have a lot of viewers. And it wasn't just them being nice. They, you know, saw my videos and saw that I had potential and encouraged me to keep going. And honestly, without them, I probably would have given up. So yeah, I definitely had a lot of help on the way, just keeping myself on track and staying positive that eventually this might work out. Another thing that's a little funnier that actually helped is, for whatever reason, I always seemed to get a really lucky break, like right when I was considering quitting. This happened multiple times over the course of the channel. It's like a really odd roller coaster. It was always right at a point where I felt like this was just never gonna work out. I had no talent for it. I should just give up. I'm gonna upload one more video and be done. That the channel would just randomly gain a bunch of subscribers, or a video would just randomly do really, really well. I don't know if that's a common experience, but that's how it happened for me anyway. And yeah, in case it wasn't obvious at this point, I did consider quitting multiple times over the course of this journey, but never since gigacheez. Once once that first Elden Ring video popped off, I have been pretty locked in with this. I don't even think the thought of quitting or giving up on this has even crossed my mind since then. For obvious reasons. I mean, this has been a complete dream come true so far. Anyway, sticking with the subject of content, what is my favorite video or what is my favorite series that I have made? That's kind of hard to answer. There's a lot of good ones, some of which really don't have the views that they deserve in my opinion. And even going back on the channel, I actually have been watching some of my old content recently, and like, I don't know, I do look down on those Call of Duty days because it was kind of derivative, but it's really not as bad as I thought, and there are some gems in there. One thing I actually was considering doing, I don't have time to do this, so I don't know when this would happen, but part of me kind of wants to go back through some of those old videos and get some of like the funniest moments and basically cut together like a best of old Kryptix montage. I don't know, I think that would actually be kind of fun. But as far as what my favorite like video or series is, I don't necessarily think I have one, although I do want to give a sort of notable shout out to both my Diablo 4 Let's Play and then my Lies of P Let's Play, because I think those two series are where I really started to settle on a content style that was mine. Other people might disagree, like there might be some people who think the Call of Duty videos were very me, or there might be people who think that, you know, the gigacheez stuff is really me in my bag, but for me personally, I feel like those two series are the first point on the channel where you could click on a video and say, that's a Kryptix video. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but maybe you get what I mean. Next question. Will I ever do harder Elden Ring or Souls challenges, i.e. Scumnut? And also, will I ever do the God Run? No. Listen, all the respect in the world to Scumnut. I think the guy is great and amazing at what he does, but I've talked about this before. I don't find those kinds of challenges fun at all. The types of challenges, not just in Elden Ring, but in other games too, that I think are the most interesting are challenges that make me really think about the limitation and try to find ways to work around it, rather than a challenge where I'm just banging my head against the boss for 30 minutes and it becomes an endurance run of, you know, how long can I go without fucking up, basically. At that point, I kind of just lose interest. And in with that, I also don't think no-hit runs are very fun. Again, all the respect to like Gino Machino and people like that who are able to no-hit Elden Ring and make it look beyond easy when they do it, but it's just not something I personally find fun to do. Like, I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could practice really hard and get a no-hit run of Elden Ring fairly handily, especially if I went like Starfist and started mathing out stance values and stuff, but I don't think I'd really enjoy it very much. All right, next up, will you do co-op runs with people, and will you do more collabs in general? Yes, I actually do plan on making some progress with that very soon. I've actually got a couple videos planned coming up, one hopefully in the next week or so, that are gonna feature other creators. And in the long term, I do want to get better about collabing and like reaching out to people. That was one of my goals for this year, but to be honest, I haven't been very good about actually committing to it. I'm hoping that these couple videos I have coming up will like kickstart that, because I do want to start featuring more creators and, you know, my friends and stuff on the channel. Here's an interesting one. What is the most embarrassing moment I've had while recording that didn't make it into a video? You know, I don't really know. Most of my like fails and stuff end up making the cut because it's funny, or if not, at the very least, like turned into a short. I don't know, this is probably a boring answer, but I feel like it's just me saying something really unfunny and then realizing it's not funny while in the edit and just deleting it. I don't know, I'm struggling to think of any moment that like happened during the recording of a video where I'm like, oh my god, I cannot include that, I have to cut that. Maybe like way at the beginning of the channel when I was like trying to make myself look better at Call of Duty than I actually was. I don't know, nothing really comes to mind, sorry. Next up, what are my main hobbies outside of content creation? Well, in case it wasn't painfully obvious, I am a gamer. I do spend a lot of my time playing games off camera, some of which you guys have actually seen, because over the years I have learned to just have OBS with like a replay buffer on, even if I'm not recording for a video, just because you never know when something might happen. There's more than a few shorts and like other silly clips that are on the channel that came from me just playing a game at 2 in the morning and having something ridiculous happen. But yeah, currently I'm trying to very slowly work my way through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I do have a backlog of other games that I want to play just for fun as well. Actually, something fun that I might do, and let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in this, but I was thinking for like an end of the year video, and maybe for a stream as well, to do like a tier list or like a ranking or something of just all the games that I played throughout the year, whether it was on the channel or just for fun or like a mix of both or whatever. I don't know, I think that could be cool. Beyond gaming, I do watch a fair bit of anime and I read a lot of manga. I'm not going to get into any specifics with favorites or anything. I am pretty pretty sure I made a list in the last Q&A video, so if you want to hear what any of my favorites are or my thoughts on different shows that might be airing, feel free to go check that video out. And again, for the people who follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I am a fanatic for Philadelphia sports. It's actually really unhealthy. I think I need help. Anyway, moving on here. How do I keep my videos engaging and funny? Yeah, I don't really know. Honestly, I never feel like I'm being funny, if that makes sense. I think people just find me funny. Not that I mind that at all. I'm glad you're entertained. But that specific fact actually does lead to some difficulties. There'll be times where I'm like stuck on a video. I'll be like halfway through editing a video and I'm unhappy with it because I just think it's boring. But then I end up uploading it and all the comments say they think it's hilarious. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not a very good judge of my own content. Oh, here's another interesting one. What snack can I not have in the house or I'll eat the whole thing? Oh, dude, I got a great one. So there's this brand of barbecue potato chips that's sold like exclusively in rural PA. I think it's local. It's called like Middlesworth or something like that, I think. And the thing is, it's not a sweet barbecue, it's like a spicy barbecue. These chips have a bit of kick to them. And straight up, dude, these are the most delicious potato chips anywhere. Like, I could take a family-sized bag of these things, leave it out on like my kitchen counter or whatever, and just slowly over the course of my day eat the whole thing. It'll be gone in 12 hours or less, guaranteed. And here we got another food-related question, or beverage-related, I guess. How do you take your coffee? I don't. I don't drink coffee, dude. I never have. I don't know if I ever will. Although I say that, I don't think my dad started drinking coffee until he's like 45. So maybe it'll change, I don't know. But no coffee for this content creator. I pretty much live off energy drinks, water, and Jack Daniels. Next up, do you have a girlfriend or boyfriend? No, I am very alone. Getting back to content a little bit, what is my inspiration for Souls content? I don't really have one. I talked about this a lot. I really didn't set out to be an Elden Ring YouTuber, and to be honest, I still hesitate to call myself that. You guys could probably tell, but I'm not exactly committed to the game the way a lot of other people are. But yeah, the original gigacheez videos were mostly just a combination of my old Let's Play style, and then stealing a little bit of inspiration from a Small Ant of all creators, which is actually really funny now that I think about it, because I don't even watch Small Ant that much. He's a really good content creator. He's just not somebody I'm, you know, a regular viewer of or a longtime fan or anything like that. But he just happened to be in my feed at the time. I'd seen a couple videos and I was like, yeah, I could maybe take a couple pages from his books. Yeah, that's really the closest thing I could say to like having an inspiration for Souls content. Most of the YouTubers who do and have inspired me are like way older. I'm talking about people like Uberhaxer Nova, Zergriz. I guess AfroSenju's still around. But yeah, not really a whole lot of Souls specific inspiration, I guess you could say. Continuing with the theme of Souls content, how do I still find enjoyment in a game that I play for a living? Well, it's actually pretty easy. I sort of lucked into the game that is the biggest thing on the channel. Elden Ring is extremely versatile for content. There's a ton of stuff you can do with it. And even if you do end up getting bored of the base game, there's like a gazillion mods for this thing. I don't see myself running out of ideas for Elden Ring anytime soon. But as far as keeping it fun, I think the biggest thing is I don't force myself to play. Part of why I'm so adamant about uploading other games on the channel and, you know, doing variety and stuff is so I have the ability to only play Elden Ring when I feel like it. Because at least for me personally, I feel like my videos are at their best when, you know, I'm really excited for the concept or I'm really excited for the game and I'm having fun doing it. I imagine this is probably the case for most people. So what I don't want to do is end up in a situation where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I gotta finish this randomizer, I gotta finish this challenge run or whatever, and I'm just like really not enthused about it. I think the only time that I've ever had to record through feeling that way, as far as Elden Ring is concerned, is the last part of the Elon Musk run. Just because I was stuck on Consort Radon for so long, I was desperate to be free of that challenge. And actually, speaking of the Elon Musk run, the next question is, will you ever do another run like the Elon Musk run? Short answer is, I'd like to, but I just need to find celebrities that have funny builds that are actually publicly accessible. I know a lot of people were asking me in the comments to do Jinxie's build from his first Elden Ring playthrough, but from what I've heard, he just ended up using Rivers of Blood because his chat told him to or something, and honestly, I feel like that's kind of boring for content, so probably not gonna end up doing that anytime soon. But actually, one thing I really want to do is I would love to find a way to get my hands on Alex Garland's Elden Ring build, who, if you don't know, he's directing the Elden Ring movie. I would love to see what his build is and try to beat the game with it. I think that would be really interesting. Maybe I should like reach out to his PR team and see if they'll tell me. They probably won't. I'm not that cool. Anyway, next up, will I be branching out on the channel / playing other games? Yes. So variety is something that's like really important for me to include on the channel. Not just so I don't get sick of Elden Ring, but also my ultimate goal long term is to be able to be a YouTuber that can play play anything. Obviously, right now the channel is very focused on Elden Ring because that's where a lot of my viewers are, but in the long term, I would like to kind of be able to upload basically whatever and have it perform comparably to Elden Ring. And one change I'm going to be experimenting with in the immediate future is I want to see if I can balance like my Let's Play series and doing more long-form videos, kind of like the Convergence one. In case you didn't know this, just from like an algorithm perspective, YouTube really doesn't like multi-part Let's Plays for whatever reason. Apparently, it's always been this way. Like Jacksepticeye was talking about it with his Resident Evil stuff, but like even for me, when I do multi-part series, you can literally watch the views diminish over time. And that's sort of okay when you're playing something that's just come out and it's new and fresh, because the hype kind of keeps the series going. But I think for older games, like there's an older game I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of relatively soon, I kind of want to experiment with making it all one big long video rather than splitting it up into, you know, several parts and kind of watching the views dip as it goes. I don't know, we'll see what the response is to this next video I'm doing, and I'll probably adjust my content strategy from there. All that being said though, I am still planning to do a lot of Elden Ring. Like I was saying before, I've got a ton of ideas for the game. I actually have an entire spreadsheet that I keep with like video ideas and stuff, and there's a whole section just dedicated to Elden Ring ideas. I am nowhere near being bored of the game. There's gonna be plenty of that on the channel for the time being, at least until FromSoft's next big game comes out anyway. Another general content question here: do you prefer streaming or video creation itself? I think the obvious answer is video creation. I really like the process of making a video and actually seeing it come to life, you know, adding the music and the sound effects and different filters and transitions and stuff. I know a lot of people want me to stream more, but it's kind of hard to turn stream VODs into videos the way I usually like to do them. Some people have asked me to upload my raw recordings to like a second channel or for members only or something like that, but they're not exactly the same as stream VODs. The way that I record when I'm not streaming is in a way where I know it's going to be edited later, so I'm not always worried about like being entertaining 24/7 or, you know, being engaging for like a chat, if that makes sense. And it works well for videos because, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm the one editing them, but not so much for long form live content. That being said, I do hope to start streaming a little bit more. I know I keep saying that, but one of these times it'll come true, I promise. But yeah, between streaming and making videos, I do still prefer making videos for the most part. And next up, will you ever stream or play Call of Duty again? So I think I answered this in the last Q&A, but my opinion has kind of shifted on this, so I kind of wanted to talk about it again. The answer here is maybe. So in case you don't, you know, follow the Call of Duty landscape, Call of Duty recently released ports of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 for the PS5 and like revamped the servers and stuff, and a whole bunch of people have been playing them. And I did end up playing Black Ops 2 a bit, and not gonna lie, it was actually pretty fun. Not fun enough to make content on, but you know, it was fun for the time being. So one thing I was thinking of is, rather than making solo Call of Duty content, because I don't think I'm ever gonna do that again, but like I was kind of talking about before, I do have a couple collabs coming up, and depending on how they do and like the vibes and everything, I'm considering maybe like dragging a couple people along into the Modern Warfare 4 beta, you know, since it's gonna be free, and just kind of make like a funny moment slash highlights type of video with them. I don't know, I think that could be cool. That being said though, I'm definitely not ever gonna go back to playing Call of Duty full time. I'm pretty sure those days are over at this point. And finally, rounding out the list, has life improved since going full time on YouTube? Yes, very much so, but not in all the ways that I expected. Although I should temper that, I'm not complaining at all. Like I was kind of talking about with the whole quitting my job thing, overall, this change has been a massive positive in my life. So it's not like disappointment when I say this, it's more like just an observation, if that makes sense. That, you know, there's some areas of my life where I thought they would improve a lot more going full time on YouTube, and they kind of haven't really. Not that they've gotten worse, but it's just sort of like, you know, stayed the same. But that being said, again, overall, it has been an absolutely positive change, and just in general, I'm doing way better than I was a year ago today, especially with like mental and stuff. And yeah, I think that about rounds up the questions for this time. Like I said at the beginning, if you have a burning question or I didn't answer yours, feel free to drop it down in the comments section. I might end up doing another one of these again, although maybe go check out the first video before you do that, because I did skip a lot of questions that I answered in that video, but people asked them again for some reason. And yeah, that's about it for this one. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, definitely make sure you leave a like, and if you're new or you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you go follow me on Twitter. That's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one.